So what queen did you trade with, or did you just grab an ace from somewhere?
I think I see it on the table, so I grabbed it.
Malia, you're a 4.
Oh my God.
Do I need to start watching y'all walk in these days to make sure we go to the right spot? We can't be responsible enough. I know we've got buddies, Malia, like Abby, that we want to see. They're in the room. You'll be all right.
So you telling me I'm by myself, so.
I will consolidate groups in a second. I don't know where that extra ace came from, but that means someone has dropped off an ace and wasn't supposed to drop off an ace. Okay, but move. I will.
How about move?
Okay.
Somebody in the seat.
Huh? You're a queen.
Okay, I trade with somebody.
AC right there.
Huh?
AC right there.
Annalise?
Yeah.
Yes.
So which of y'all didn't have a queen? Who did you take the ace from?
I'm not no rat.
Listen,
They not gonna like stand over themselves.
What you gave up to? Let's get it. Alright, well, move to the kings then, since we're missing a king. No, we're not. Someone in here should have a king. I had 3 kings, and I don't have 3 kings anymore. Man, this is ridiculous. Like, do y'all, like, okay, I'll get onto that in a second. But, go ahead and grab a seat in the kings. We'll figure this out. Where was I going to start? I don't know. I will say this. The point of randomizing the groups is multifold. But starting with the non-academic side of it, we've got to learn how to collaborate and talk with and work with people that aren't our friends. And that's not to say they're our enemies, but we got to learn how to talk and work with people that are not our friends necessarily. Okay? So, that's part of the reason why I randomized the groups. Second, and so you will have your friend at some point, right? Walter, you're friends with, who was it you talked with a lot? Was it Dean? Yeah. But, so like, y'all will get times when you are in the same group. It's just not every time. Here's the more important reason, and this actually is a legitimate reason why I want you in randomized groups. When you randomize the groups, the ideas that you build one day in one group can more easily then spread to other groups. But if I have the same ideas stuck in the same groups every day, then you don't get to learn from each other. But by randomizing the groups, then I get to spread those ideas out every single day so everyone can learn and grow from each other. And so that way, there's a balance. Plus, and I gotta fix all these things, we've been talking about it. What's the only fair way to do sampling? What has to be there? Starts with an R?
Random.
Randomness, right? There has to be random sampling. This is fairness. Victoria, are we being nice to people in this classroom? You want to explain what that symbol meant, or that hand gesture? Okay, so let's focus. This is where you're good. Point blank period. All right. So let's see. So Annalise is right there. Those are all cool. Well, I was going to move Brianna over to the 8s so that we have all 3s. All groups of 3. Okay. Thank you. Okay. All right. So let's get started with today. Let me quickly do attendance. Let's see. So Finney is missing. Chelsea is missing. I feel like I'm missing somebody else. I haven't seen Amaya yet, have I? Not talking about mentally, we're talking about physically. You're here, physically. I understand. But I haven't seen Amaya yet. Have y'all? Anybody seen Amaya today? Okay. All right. So marking her absent. And guys, listen, I get it. It's been a long end of a long week. We're tired. We're exhausted. I got the opportunity, but also the struggle last night of working on what we call community group guides for our church, and we had to go through everything that everyone had written, and it didn't get to even leave until 11 p.m. I'm exhausted. I get it, but we've got to make sure we're still engaging, trying to grow, learn, be there for each other, take care of each other, all the fun stuff. All right, who else are we missing? that I needed to mark on here? Chelsea, you can finish, thank you. All right. So let's get started. What did we start studying yesterday? Ooh, actually, before I forget, sorry. Parker, what have you been asking for a while now? Bias practice. So normally, I don't like to do this. I like to develop fair models, but again, I was up till 11 a.m. working on, or 11 p.m., not a.m., working on those community group guides, but I didn't want to abandon y'all. So I'm going to develop a fair model that goes with this. This is 3 sets, and it's a little bit bigger, which is why it's so thick, like bigger lettering. It's 3 sets of check your understandings. There's sample types in here, which is one of the things that you were asking for, Parker. It's also got, and I've marked which is which. I've got types of bias in here, and observational studies versus experiments. Rihanna, you awake over there? Uh-huh.
Can I staple this?
You can. I would highly suggest that you don't. I would highly suggest that you put it in a notebook. That's why I have a 3-ring, it's hole punched. Do you have a 3-ring binder to put this in?
No.
Then just put it in there and put it in order. So, guys, the reason why is if you hole punch it, I get it that it's stuck together. Hey, Jaden. If it's or it's what's the word? Stapled, I get that it's together. But if it's stapled, then we also can't flip through it and take pieces out and look just at one piece or so. But
I'll do best by this.
I mean, listen, you can do that, and it can get mixed up, but if you are constantly just putting the next piece after the previous part in your notebook, then it doesn't get mixed up. You just keep putting the next piece, I already gave it to you, you just keep putting the next piece in your notebook, and then it doesn't get mixed up. All right. Let's get going. That's not mine. All right, so I told you guys to update the agenda, but what did we start yesterday? What is that right there? Come on, we can read, guys. Experiments versus observational studies, right? Victoria, you with us? I don't want you zoning out. We good? Okay, so experiments versus observational studies. And so remember, and like I want to make sure I recap this because this is important. I know some people are like, Mr. Kennedy, you're just talking. No, I'm telling you important stuff. All right? Brianna, what was the goal of an observational study? Did you take time to think about it, or did you just go, ah? Okay, well, how about this? We're going to take 30 seconds, talk with your small group. Let's make sure that everyone in the small group knows what an observational study is, or at least what the goal is. And then I'm going to call on you so that we can share ideas. So 30 seconds, talk within your small groups. What's an observational study, or what's the goal of an observational study? Why didn't I say oh yeah, you're tired today, aren't you? You told me that, and I totally forgot. Alright? I still need you to do your best to engage. Have we looked at our notes, talked about it at all to come up with an observational study, the goal of it? Okay, might it be helpful? And I'm trying to give you all the resources to be successful. Talking it out will help you learn it. KB, these are things that you missed. We gotta make sure we're learning this. I need you talking, asking questions. Now, what are you talking about?
Why everybody looking down today?
Have we looked at our notes? The old notes? Hey guys, don't forget, we can get out our resources. Listen, we gotta get it going. I understand it's Friday again. We're tired, we're exhausted. Brianna literally talked to me earlier, and I screwed up because I called on her. She told me that she needed a little bit of time, so I'll take ownership for that. That's my bad. So I'm gonna call on other people, but I need us focused. I need us engaging. Sometimes, and we talked about in my 4th block, we gotta fake it till we make it. Again, I'm here, hopefully seeming somewhat excited. I'm exhausted, right? We gotta fake it till we make it. We gotta talk about it within our small groups. So I'll leave it out to y'all. What was the goal of an observational study? Does someone volunteer? Well, there's a characteristic of interest in the observational study, but what was the whole goal of an observational study? What am I drawing right now? The population. Remember, I want to know something about my population. Is it easy to collect data from everybody? From all individuals? No. So what do we do in an observational study? We take a random sample. It needs to be a sample, a random sample. But we take a sample and we use that sample to make an what? We do observe data, but we make an inference about the population. Guys, you got to understand the point of an observational study versus an experiment. So we got to know an observational study. We want to pull that sample out. We want to use that sample to make some kind of inference about the population. Now, if our sampling method is bad, can we make a good inference? No. If our sampling method is bad, we cannot make a good inference. And what is it called when our sampling method is bad?
Bias.
Bias. We have 4 different types of bias. We have 4 different types of sampling methods, and 3 of them are biased. So I've got to check your understandings now with the answer key. By the way, when I say I give you the check your understanding, I also provided an answer key after the last page of each set so that you can check yourself, okay? But this is an observational study. We want to make an inference, and so we got to reduce bias. And someone mentioned it up here, what has to be true with that sampling to reduce that bias? What type of sample does it need to be?
Random.
It has to be random to reduce that bias. Okay? But yesterday, we started looking at an experiment. And what we want to determine in an experiment is what? We have our explanatory variable, and we have, what's the other type of variable? The response variable, right? And what do we want to determine? Because there's a correlation there, but we want to not just see a correlation, we want to see causation. So the pattern would be the correlation, right? Remember there's a pattern between as ice cream sales go up, what else happens? Shark attacks go up, right? There's a correlation there, there's a relationship, there's a pattern there. But is ice cream sales causing shark attacks to go up? No. So what's causing the issue? Summer, right? But what do we call that time of the year? That's the what? Started with a C as well. Can someone please open that door? It was, it also might be on your proficiency scale. Yes, sir. Oh, iPad.
Oh, thanks, Steve.
Remember it was a C word. It's on your yellow proficiency scale. Confounding, right? I did not hear you at all. So, we have a confounding variable, a confound in there. Remember, that's something that makes it so I can't tell, is it the explanatory variable, or is it the, so is it the ice cream, or is it the time of year? I don't know, so I don't know cause and effect. So we gotta remember the differences between them. Observational study, make an inference about the population. Experiment, an inference about causation. Okay? So in an experiment, I don't have to care about the population. I just need to care about causation. We're going to get into some other details with that. So what were some of, and so I would highly suggest we get this out, what were some of the key terms and ideas we looked at with the would you fall for that lesson? What were some of the key ideas? Literally, Jess, you were staring at them. Like, okay, so we have to know about a confounding variable. We need to know what that means. What are some of the other key ideas? Some are on the board. Treatment, right? This is not even one on the board, right? That's good. We got to know about a treatment. What else do we need to know? We need to know what an experiment is, and we need to know explanatory and response variables. Hey guys, when we study something, and I know this is going to sound bizarre, if we're used to studying, when do we study? If we're used to studying at all, when do we typically study? Right before a test, right? Do we study, I don't know, as you're learning? No. Listen, we're going to use, and maybe we're not fully used to this, but every single day we come into this class, I'm going to ask you to use the information that we've already covered in that class. So if you haven't taken the time to maybe, and it's hard to do this, some people can master it in a single class block and not have to study at all. But if you're not that person and you don't study when you come in the next day and I ask you questions that are based on the previous day, you're going to be like, and you're not going to be able to engage efficiently. But thankfully you do have the resources still, the lessons. Remember, I don't collect your lesson at the end of the day as an assignment, as a grade, because it's a learning context. You need to study though. 5 minutes a day, just reminding yourself of the vocabulary terms can be huge. Everybody's got 5 minutes a day. 10 to 15 is even better, but everybody's got 5 minutes a day. I would highly recommend taking advantage of that 5 minutes. Were there any other terms, or was that it? I think that was it, right? It's just 5. Experiment, explanatory variable, response variable, confounding variable, and treatments. Is that it? Okay. So now, and we did this yesterday, right? Or did we start on it? Just check your understanding. Can you get a pencil? Yeah. Hold on one second. Here you go. Go ahead and do it. All right. Did we start on this check your understanding?
No.
You did number one, like within your small groups? Well, how about this? Since we already started on it, I want you to go ahead and finish it. Clearly, some of us need to stand up, get the blood flowing, wake up a little bit. So, let's go to our vertical surfaces. Let's do numbers 1, 2, and 3 from this check your understanding on this lesson. And break. And break. Or don't, just sit there. Come on, guys, for real. Get up, get moving, it'll help you wake up a little bit. Talk with your group. The person who talks the most will...
Brianna and Coriana all in the front, and I'm eating a bag too.
Well, maybe we focus in class on, I don't know, learning instead of eating chips. Okay, hey, I didn't say grab a seat. If you don't want to be in the camera, then come around the sides. We got a lot of space up here. Come on up to the sides.
8 hour shift, I'm standing up all day.
I was on camera the whole block one time.
Like this one.
Okay,
We stand up
Jay,
all first
come
block.
on.
What?
Let's go.
Then we should be good, come on.
What I'm coming up there for?
Because I'm about to teach you. Get your tail up here so that we can be close to the action and it's easier to learn.
Oh, I'm
Oh,
thinking you just
Mr.
saying
Kitty,
me.
why?
Right?
Wouldn't you care? But it's already set up. Come
No,
on up.
somebody just kicked it. No, he accidentally hit it.
I did.
No, he got it. He accidentally hit it.
What?
Never mind.
Is there a red blinking light on the...
Yeah, it's recording.
Okay, then come on up.
I'm up.
Come up, not stand up. Come on up. Golly. Listen, the closer you are to the action, the easier it is to engage. Does anyone hear that? I don't know what she said. All right, but now I will say, Jane, you do want to scoot to the side a little bit just so the camera can see. But right here, why was it necessary to perform an experiment? What was a key word that I helped, I think, almost every group see if they didn't see it originally that we got to talk about? Causation, right? Guys, if we are asked about an experiment, what is the whole point of an experiment? A causation, right? Specifically, a causation between two things. What two things? Well, the cause and the effect between what?
Aspirin in the beta. Yeah.
Yes, you're right on the context of this, but I'm saying in general, what is the aspirin and the beta carotene in this problem? That's the what? Starts. This is the what? It's the explanatory variable. Guys, we're trying to show causation between what? The explanatory variable and the response variable. Don't forget, like those are the two things we're trying to get to. So, what are we trying to see? If the medicine, what? Causes a lower risk of heart attack or cancer. And so I will say, I wouldn't even be as generic between this. I'd be more clear of, what was it, aspirin and beta, I don't remember how to spell this, carotene. Okay.
And are these even actual medicines?
Yes.
You aspirin.
Aspirin for real? Yeah.
No.
Aspirin is definitely aspirin actually is the #1 thing that doctors recommend you start taking if you have a heart attack to help make sure you don't have a heart attack in the future. Beta carotene is something, I'm not as familiar with what it does, but yes, this is actual real world stuff. That's what I'm trying to tell y'all. This is as real world as it gets. Victoria, you engaged over there? Carly, you engaged? I would love you to get a little bit closer to the action.
I feel like you make your own sentence and put us in it, then I will understand it. Like, if that makes sense, like.
I know what you're saying, but I want you to expand beyond yourself. That's why, I want y'all to understand, the doll experiment and how grades are messed up and how this can impact your health. These things are things that we may not know about, the real world context, but the things we need to know about. You need to know what can affect your heart health. You need to know about things that can help prevent cancer. These are things we actually need to know, and it requires us to go outside of ourselves. Okay, so that's part of the reason. I'll try to keep that in mind for the future. It also helps that mathematics already developed these things, but I will say this, Algebra 2, when we get into the math side of Algebra 2, it is the hardest thing to bring real world context into. You can do it with Algebra 1 easily, you can do it with geometry easily, you can do it with middle school math easily, but once you get to Algebra 2, this is the mathiest math you've had yet. Okay? Now, it's still doable because it's patterns and relationships, it's just really, really hard to make it contextual for your everyday life. So I apologize, but that is the reality. All that to say, when you say experiment, what do you need to think? Cause, specifically, causation between your, what are these? These are not the treatments yet, so hold on to that. These are the what? These are the explanatory variables. Explanatory variables. And what's the heart attack or cancer? These are my response variables. That's what we're measuring at the end of this. Now, y'all were very, very close for a lot of us on identifying 4 treatments. By the way, I will point this out. This is the last thing. Why were they not just allowed to take their own amounts of these things? What would that make this if they were not assigned these treatments? This would not be an experiment. It would be an
But observational study.
It'd be an observational study.
Mr. Kenny, did you hear?
In addition, yes. Okay? Remember, what can an observational study not do? Cannot reduce. Bias is not the problem. Confounding. Remember, bias is a bad sampling method, which prevents me from understanding the population. Confounding is an extra variable that prevents me from understanding cause and effect accurately. An observational study cannot reduce the effects of confounding. If you don't assign treatments, you cannot reduce the effects of confounding. Now, I'm just going to focus on the 4 treatments. I'm not as stressed about the control group. I don't even think that's on your proficiency scale. The 4 treatments, y'all are really close. So notice it says aspirin, aspirin like placebo, beta carotene like placebo. However, it says here that each of the physicians were assigned to take an aspirin or an aspirin like placebo. Likewise, each of the physicians. So it's not just 50-50 where half of them take aspirin, half of them take the aspirin like placebo, or a quarter, a quarter, a quarter, and a quarter. They could take aspirin and what else? Well, you can't do both of these. But one individual doctor could take aspirin and what else?
Beta carotene.
And beta carotene. So aspirin and beta carotene was one treatment. What's another treatment based on these things here? So beta carotene, placebo, and what else? So beta carotene, placebo, and what else? And aspirin, placebo. But remember, they said there was 4 treatments. That's only 2. 1, 2. This is a doctor who's taking aspirin and the beta carotene. This is a doctor taking beta carotene placebo and the aspirin placebo. So what's another combination?
Aspirin and beta carotene placebo.
Aspirin and beta, I'm just going to abbreviate this. Y'all good with that? BC placebo. Beta carotene placebo.
Beta carotene, aspirin.
So beta carotene and aspirin placebo. We could combine those in 4 different ways. That's 4 different treatments. Because a treatment is the combinations of the explanatory variable values. Okay, so it's not just 25, 25, it's those combinations, okay? Do we see how those explanatory variables are coming together to create the treatments? Okay, so what's the confusion?
I think everything is going through one ear and out the other. Because it's not being broken down through the I think everybody's
Okay, so what's the treatment? Are we looking at that definition from yesterday?
treatment is values of the explanatory variable, researches, manipulate, apply the names.
Okay, so treatment is the values of the explanatory variable. Okay,
Downstream mean 2.
say again.
Downstream mean 2. Like 2,
It doesn't have to be 2. Guess we're tired of standing, huh? It must be tough to stand. Ooh. Guys, thank you. Treatment is the value of the explanatory variable. So the reason why a lot of times I'll say this, it is going to be 2 in the way that I describe it. But here, let's think about this. I thought I gave this example yesterday, maybe to the other class. What things can affect plant growth? Soil, water, sunlight. Let's just stop there. Those things are affecting what? Plant growth. Well, yes, there's a lot of other things, but plant growth then would be which variable? Is that going in one ear and out the other, or is that clear? We good with that? I can't help you if you tell me a guess. Like, this is responding to what?
All through the soil, water, and sun.
So these are my which variables? These right here.
All through the
These are doing what to the plant growth? Explaining. So these are explaining. These are independent variables, explanatory. This is my right response. Plant growth is responding to soil, water, and sunlight. We good with that now? Ivan, you good with that now? Okay. So I'm going to take out soil just because I'm going to focus just on 2 explanatory variables right now. Let's say, and I'll go ahead and tell you this, I don't remember how we measure water, but right here, Victoria, it might help. I know that. I meant like how much we should have like in a week. But let's just say we have 5 milliliters, that seems so little. Let's say per day, 10 milliliters per day, and 25 milliliters per day. Okay? Sunlight. Let's say we've got 10 hours of sunlight. We've got 12 hours of sunlight, and we've got 16 hours of sunlight. These are different values of my explanatory variables, right?
16 hours.
Okay? What we're going to do is we're going to combine each of these. So, this 5 milliliters of water is going to give me 10 hours. It's also going to go with 12 hours, and that's going to go with 16 hours. So, For the sake of time, I'm not writing it down, but how many treatments do I have so far? Just based off that 5 milliliters of water. 3, okay? But I still also have, I need another color, excuse me. I still have 10 milliliters of water. And that 10 milliliters of water can go with 10 hours of sunlight, 12 hours of sunlight, and 16 hours of sunlight. Okay? And then finally, the 25 milliliters can go with 10 hours, 12 hours, and 16 hours. So you get this combination of 5 milliliters of water and 10 hours of sunlight. 5 milliliters of water and 12 hours of sunlight. These are my treatments. They're going together. They're from the explanatory variable. Okay? Does that break it down enough? Okay, so when we come over to here, we are correct in that we have aspirin and an aspirin-like placebo. But the aspirin can go with beta-carotene, and the aspirin can go with what? The beta-carotene-like placebo. The aspirin-like placebo can go with beta-carotene and? We're already on the aspirin-like placebo. And the beta-carotene-like placebo. Aspirin and beta-carotene, beta-carotene placebo and aspirin placebo, aspirin and beta-carotene placebo, beta-carotene and aspirin placebo. It is the combinations of those different levels. What questions do you have? Jaden says he's good. Ivan, you good with that? Okay. KB, you good with that? You got questions? Annalise, you go with it now? Dalton? Guys, I need y'all to hear me clearly on something. We can get upsetty if we're saying you're not breaking it down enough. But if I think I'm breaking it down enough, and to you I'm not, and I don't know that I'm not, then how can I break it down further? I have absolutely no problem re-explaining something. But I don't want to hear upsetty, well, you're not doing this. Tell me, so I can help you. If you aren't talking, though, I don't know. So, talk to me, okay? If I don't know that you don't understand, then I cannot change the way I'm explaining it. Because I can change the way I'm explaining it and break it down in a different way. We good with that? I want you to be successful. So I will change things if I have to. It might take me a second to rethink how to explain it. But did that re-breakdown over there with the plant growth help it sink in more and see the difference? Okay. Yes, Jaden.
This feels like everything but math to me.
Holy crap, how many days in a row do I have to say that this is statistics and study design and it's not math?
How do I go to math?
Huh?
Is there another math class I can take?
It's Algebra 2 with statistics. A third of our course is, any guesses? Statistics. This is the only unit we're doing with it though. We will get into traditional math soon. But I promise you this, if we do not get used to talking and making sense out of things, then the next unit where we do actual math and we go into more traditional things, you're not going to understand much better. The other thing is, what I'm trying to build and help you understand is, all of this study design stuff goes back to the definitions, to the defining characteristics of each of these terms. I see the word experiment, I need to understand, I'm thinking about causation between explanatory and response variables. I go back to the definitions. When we get into traditional math, we're probably not going to be used to going back to the traditional definitions and what the thing actually means. But you need to. That's how you build real understanding of mathematics. Like, I don't care what the grades were in previous classes, if we don't really understand what the thing actually means, if we just did a procedure without understanding what was happening, then you haven't really understood math, and I'm trying to help you understand math. I'm trying to help you understand why, so that it actually can be useful. Literally, a student commented on a post I had the other day, because he was liking he had to have graduated 2 or 3 years ago, but he commented on a picture that I shared about what we were doing here at Hillcrest, and he goes, Mr. Kinney, I will never forget how much you emphasized why, because it changed the way I think about things. It can happen, But if we want to do the least, you're going to get frustrated. I want you to do more. I want us to get outside of ourselves. I want us to understand. I'm trying to set the foundation so you can do that. And it's better to do it with this than to do it with the math. Because this unit will not impede your ability to be successful or halt your ability to be successful in the next 5 units. If I started with traditional math, it would hurt you long term. I'm trying to set you up for success. All that to say, I want you to be successful. Please take the notes you need to. I know it's messy. I'm going to try to clean these things up a little bit to make it clear, but we need to notice this over here is number 1. I've edited this, right? So to see if the medicine, aspirin, beta-carotene, those are my explanatory variables, actually work. So instead of actually work, we're saying cause a lower risk of heart attack or cancer. That's my response variable. That is number 1. I made an extra note in number 1 that if it was just this, it'd be an observational study which cannot reduce the effects of confounding. Key ideas to understanding experiments. And then here's my treatments. Please take the notes. And once again, while y'all are taking notes, I'll be walking around the room. Guess what you can do while I'm walking around the room? Ask questions. Because I want you to learn. But we got to do a little bit more. We got to actually take time to study. Jaden, you study at all yet for this class?
No, that's my other class.
Holy crap, you can study for other classes, but not this one?
I've been doing big grades over there. I've been having big tests to take, so that's my main goal for right now.
Your effort in this class will have long-term consequences too. We need to take 5-10 minutes a day to study. If you are waiting till the day of the test to study for this class, you're going to be up the creek. I need you to have good notes. I need you to make sure you're taking a little bit of time to study, maybe even do some practice problems, which is wild, I know, but actually take some time to study. If you focus on learning, you can be successful in this class. But if you're just trying to cram and earn a grade without actually learning, your grade's not going to be great because you didn't learn anything. Let's take some notes and learn some stuff. Maybe write down why and how things work, not just the pure answers. If we want to say it's an experiment, what has to be at play? We got to have what? We got to have treatments. Now, remember, treatments are a part of what? The starts with an E. Explanatory what? Variable. Okay. Here's what I need us to recognize though. Remember, you can have an explanatory variable and a response variable, and there just be a correlation. Here, let me say that again. You can have an explanatory variable and a response variable, and there just be a correlation. But a treatment is something that the researchers tell the subjects to do. Let me say that one more time. A treatment is something that the researchers tell the subjects to do. So if this is an experiment, it's got to have a treatment. Researchers telling the subject to do something. If there are not researchers telling the subjects to do something, then we have an observational study. I need you to think about those details and evaluate your responses, both your claims and your justification. All right, so let's talk about this. First things first. Hey, I need us to remember a key thing. In justifying, and guys, it's in justifying that you're going to master these ideas. In justifying, you really need to go back to the what. Guys, please walk this way. Like, again, like you can be around here if you don't want to be in the camera's view. I have the camera focused right here. But the closer you get to the action, Ivan, like Ivan, this was your group, and you walked as far away as possible. I know, and I'm trying to prevent you from doing that so you can focus on the action. All right, look. Guys, I need you to remember, because most of us got observational study, but I can tell you this, by talking to the groups, we don't fully understand why it's an observational study. We're getting there, we're getting closer, but I need us to understand how to justify these things so that we don't get it right one time, so that we don't just get it right 2 times, but so that we always get it right. Okay? So, right here, observational study. They weren't testing if the SAT prep would increase scores. That's what we have right here. Now, here's what I want to point out. in thinking about it, so like there's a word there that kind of is accurate, but were they trying to see if SAT prep caused the higher test score?
No.
I mean, they were trying to. But the question is not whether they were trying to, is whether they successfully did it. And so be careful, right? Is there a clear correlation here? Yes, people who took the SAT score, did they have a higher score? Or SAT prep class, did they have a higher score? Yes. However, the bigger issue is over here. So, Brianna or somebody, can you shift it over here? This is the issue, the observational study. There's no what? There's no treatment, right? Notice this group, in talking about an observational study, they went back to the defining characteristic of a what? Not an observational study. Of a what? I heard someone behind me say it. Experiment, right? Because here's the thing. If it doesn't have the characteristic of an experiment, it's not an experiment. If it doesn't have the defining characteristic of an experiment, it is not an experiment. Now, I'm pretty loud. Dee Dee, can you go close the door just so we're not disturbing other people? So, is it an experiment? Well, there's no
Treatment.
There's no treatment. So, is it an experiment?
No.
No, right? It's not an experiment. When you say they, please be careful. Don't say it, don't say they, don't say blah, blah, blah. Be clear with your language. Who wasn't told to do the SAT prep?
The students.
The students. Okay. The students weren't told to do the SAT prep. More importantly from this, the researchers didn't tell I'm going to stop for a second. I want you to look at your proficiency scale, because there's a term on that proficiency scale that tells us what we would call the students in the context of an experiment.
Sample.
Not a sample, not a population. This is a new term. That's why I'm asking you to look at your proficiency scale. So it is on the experiment side. There is something that we call the individuals in an experiment. It helps when we have that yellow proficiency scale out. Not replication.
What side is it on?
No, that's an observational study,
on
guys.
the
It's on the experiment side, unit 1B.
Control?
Not a control.
Experimental unit.
It is called an experimental units. Now, when those experimental units are humans, we just call them subjects. Okay? So, they didn't tell the experimental units what to do. Okay, we will properly define this stuff later, but I want you to introduce this term on your paper. Like, the idea is, when I say experimental units, what do you think I mean by that? Someone did say an S word earlier that kind of ties into it. Not a population, but a sample. So the experimental units are like the sample. They're the individuals in the experiment. That's why they're called
Experimental unit.
Okay, experimental unit is just the individuals in the experiment. That's it. Okay? Experimental units are the individuals in the experiment. So, if it's an experiment, the researchers are telling the experimental units what to do. And what do we call that thing that they're telling the experimental units to do? It's called a T. It starts with a T. A treatment, right? What the researchers are telling them to do is called a treatment. Okay. Now, does that make sense? Is that clear why this is observational study and non-experiment?
Yes, because it's not a treatment.
There's no treatments. Beautiful, right? That's the summary. No treatments. I do want to point out, I will highlight it earlier. Well, no, they didn't actually end up adding that detail. Specifically, when we say the researchers are not telling the experimental units what to do, they're not telling the experimental units to do the class, the prep class, or not, right? Okay, so the explanatory variable is the students who volunteered to take the SAT. Now, hold on a second. Who all took the SAT? Which students? Say it again. All the students actually took the SAT, right? Look at it again, because it says the average SAT score for this group was 1220. the average SAT score for all students who did not take the prep class was 1050. So who all took the SAT?
Everybody.
Everybody in the club. Yes, sir.
Oh, I'll say this.
You did take the SAT? Cool. Usually we take the ACT in the South, but the SAT is a good test, huh?
Don't believe.
What?
Don't believe him.
Don't believe them. All right. Let's see. I want to come over here. So can y'all move the camera over this way?
Got you.
This is closer to accurate. Remember, explanatory. It is doing what? It is explaining. So what was explaining the scores? Yeah, this is a good explanatory variable.
All right.
You good?
We're good. Hold on.
Okay.
Action.
The explanatory variable, that is the, Jaden, you with me?
Yeah.
Okay. The explanatory variable is the SAT prep. That is the class, right?
Mhm.
And so the SAT prep, the class is explaining the what? Test scores. Hey guys, to justify this, because you do want to justify it, this explains this. Explanatory, and this is responding to this. Now, what I want to point out is, I think one of the things that we are missing is the word variable in this. Literally, variable means able to vary, right? Able to vary. So, SAT prep. You take the class or you don't. Is that changing? Is that varying? You take the class or you don't. So there's two options. So is that varying?
Yes.
Yes. That's a variable. Are people's test scores changing?
Yes.
Yes. So is that a variable?
Yes.
If I were you, and so I might do this from now on, this is a suggestion, just ID variables first. So take a second to identify variables, okay? Then decide explanatory versus response. So take a second. This is a note that I would make to myself when I let y'all take notes in a second. ID variables, then decide explanatory versus response. By the way, what are we going to call the students who volunteered to take the SAT? Those are my experimental units, also called, I mentioned it briefly. It is it's kind of like the sample, but it is the subjects. When you have humans as your experimental units, you can call them subjects. Are you intentionally hitting yourself in the face?
Good morning,
Okay.
teachers. Today was a great day at the
All right.
Today's not finishing.
All right, last thing, and I need it, and we'll pick back up here after number 3 on Monday. Right here, though.
I pledge allegiance
A lot of us are saying
to the
yes.
United States of America.
We're saying yes to the SAT prep is causing a higher average score. And guess what? Can an SAT prep course increase your score? Can it cause an increase?
Don't forget to
Yes.
follow our 4-page
But we're going to talk more about why this is not necessarily just the case.
Thinking proactively and showing respect.
Was this, what do we have to have to determine causation?
Why did the football team?
Not just proving.
If they're a quarter.
A
You have to have what?
You
You have to have treatments. Were we going to say comparison? You have to be able to compare what?
Our treatment has.
And if you compare treatments, that's called an experiment. Do we have an experiment?
No,
Oh. So can we decide causation without an experiment?
no.
No.
Also are interested in the key part.
No. That's a common mistake here, okay? Can't determine
Do not forget that you must apply every year.
causation without comparing
A treatment.
not a treatment.
Encouraged to attend for more information.
Treatment.
It has to be 2 or more, remember?
Captain and.
That's called an
Experiment.
experiment. Okay, we're gonna pick up on number 4.
Next semester.
Tomorrow.
Hold
Monday.
on, I ain't seeing you tomorrow.
Wait,
I mean, I
Monday.
love you and all, but I ain't seeing you tomorrow, okay? So, please quickly grab a seat. You probably need to pull out your iPad, take a picture of the stuff in purple, but put it into your notes later, guys. If you have time, like Carly's doing,